We never did get that clock fixed, huh?
Why is it late?
Shall see.
So what time? Yeah, see? That clock.
5:59.
Yeah. We, every meeting we talk
Our
about having
clock
the clock
is-
fixed.
It's getting better though.
That's what we can leave early. Minute. 5:59.
Being in real estate.
It's all up to Elaine.
Good evening and welcome to the October 20th Board of Selectmen's meeting. We'll start with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a few announcements. This meeting is being recorded by PAC TV. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. There's going to be a first-time home buyer seminar offered by the Plymouth Redevelopment Authority, October 28th, 29th, and November 5th, 5:30 to 8:30 at the Plymouth Town Hall. In addition to that, we have the South Shore Community Action Council is having their first annual pumpkin run this Saturday. It's a 5K race. Walk or run for fun and community. It's going to be starting at 71 Oberry Street in Plymouth. Again, that's South Shore Community Action Council. They do a lot for the area. They're involved with fuel assistance, helping the elderly, food resources. So if you're in for a nice crisp run this weekend, again, it's this Saturday at Oberry Street. And last April, we had a young lady here to ask us to support a resolution for adopted children to be able to become president. Well, that resolution has made it to the committee in Boston. And next Wednesday, October 28th, it's going to be heard in front of the Joint Committee on Veterans and Federal Affairs. So they've made it to the committee level, and hopefully it'll go further to that. So making progress on that one.
Wow.
So we supported that as a board. So we can go on to anyone here for open forum. Not seeing anyone. It's 6:05. We have the off-leash dog area implementation committee, Karen Quigley. Okay. If you just step up, it's more to just so people at home can see the people who are volunteering for different committees. We're not going to interrogate you or anything. So if you just want your name and a little about yourself.
My name is Karen Quigley. I live on Pembroke Street, and I was interested in serving a friend of mine, Leslie Ann McGee, serves on this committee and was looking for volunteers. And I recently have a dog for about a year, and I also have a horse, and so I'm on the riding board committee of my riding club. I'm the recording secretary, so I'm used to kind of putting on, helping events and, things involving animals. So I'm just interested in serving on the board,
Nice.
on the committee.
Anyone have any questions?
I'll ask her a question.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
And thank you for volunteering. Your volunteer form says that you frequented dog parks in California.
I did.
Were those a specific fenced-in area
They
with
were.
a double entry?
They had double entry, and they had a specific areas for leash dogs and unleashed dogs. They had two different areas.
Within the
maybe,
fence?
more for maybe dogs that they wanted to socialize, but they didn't maybe feel so comfortable letting them off the leash. So it was a little bit of a two-way area, and there a smaller area for the leashed areas, dogs, but a bigger area for the unleashed dogs. Yep, I was probably at 3.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, I'll move to appoint Karen Quigley to the Off-Leash Dog Area Implementation Committee to a term expiring August 31st, 2016.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. You'll get paperwork to get sworn in by the clerk's office. Thank you. 6:10, okay, we've got some, how about we do meeting minutes?
Okay, I move to approve the meeting minutes of the September 22nd, 2015 open session as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
And the 6th, the pending?
Yeah, they're not prepared.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
ready.
That's, I just wanted to make sure. Well, we can briefly talk about the Board of Health meeting last night. The Board of Health had their meeting on the wind turbines again, and the discussion revolved around,
We did that last.
Okay.
revolved around expanding the time that the turbine wouldn't be in operation. This is still under the Board of Health's purview, and they haven't taken a formal vote or anything yet, but just to give you what was discussed. To shut down the turbine year-round between 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. at wind speeds of 7 meters per second, regardless of wind direction, and then to shut down the turbine again year-round between 11:30 p.m. and 4:30 a.m. at wind speeds of 9 meters or more, regardless of wind direction. But if Kingston KWI adopts a low-noise mode, if they can get some software to help them with that, that may change some of the parameters. But that was basically it. It was a discussion to expand the hours. Tom? They did vote it last night? Okay. Anybody-
Voted 4-0.
It was? Okay. If everybody good, want more information, or? I guess we're good. Thank you. So, that was last night's discussion from the Board of Health. Next, we have a special event, a request for approval of the 2016 Cape Cod Ragnar Relay on Friday, May 13th, 2016. They've done this in the past, they're just asking for our permission sooner than in prior years.
I can't make a motion. I move to approve the, where am I? Sorry. The Wagner, okay, sorry. I move to approve the application of Mike Dion, Race Director, for the 2016 Ragnar Cape Cod Relay on Friday, May 13, 2016, contingent upon the following conditions. The applicant demonstrates to the Kingston Police Department that it has secured any and all necessary permits from Mass DOT that approve the applicant's request to utilize State Highway Route 3A in Kingston for this event. The applicant contacts the Kingston Police Department and finalizes a traffic management plan and schedules a total of 2 detailed officers to be deployed at both the Route 3 northbound and southbound entrance/exit ramps at the intersection at Main Street, Route 3A, and that the applicant obtains all necessary sign permits from the Kingston Building Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
And Laurie, can you, and one abstention. Can you put this on a come-up? Thank you. We always say it so far in advance, the weekend the events come, and everybody's like, what's all the traffic, so. How about with number 3, acceptance of a $1,500 donation in painting services from Larry Iarossi to the Recreation Department for work done at the Reed Community Building.
I move to accept with gratitude the donation of approximately $1,500 in painting services from Larry Iarossi of Iarossi Painting for work done at the Reed Community Building.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This isn't the first time he's done something like that. He
No, he's
donates a
done it
lot.
before, yeah.
So thank you. We appreciate it. Okay.
It's an interesting thing, you know, essentially donating in-kind service versus money and things like that. You know, you give what you have, and sometimes what you have is time or ability or whatever. It's great.
Yeah, it is. Works out good. So, being 6:10, we have an application for a common vicular license from Euro Restaurant Group 1 LLC DBA Wayback Burgers, 101 Kingston Collection Way.
What, the triple?
Yes. Exactly.
I was running late today. We had 3 of them. College kids like it.
So, we have an application, if you'd like to,
Well, my name is Amantino Lopes. I am one of the owners. This is Craig Bolio. He will be the second owner.
and what are your plans?
It's to run, we currently own one right now in Stoughton. It's to run it's basically a hamburger place with a wider menu. There's no alcohol involved, and it's to open up, I think, between 9 in the morning until whenever the mall closes.
Okay, because your application is 8 a.m. to 12 p.m.
They've said that on Thursdays or Friday and Saturday, they stay open later because of the cinema and the Formula One.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple of the different residents are allowed to stay open, the movies and the go-karts, and most likely the other entertainment places as well.
Okay.
So you almost see like a second shift. 9:30, the mall closes, but you will see other businesses that are allowed to stay open.
Is that Thursday and Friday or Friday and Saturday?
Thursday and Friday, right now, the go-kart place stays open till 11, I think, on Thursday, 12 on Friday, 12 on Saturday. The movies can run anywhere until 2 in the morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from a law enforcement perspective, are you comfortable that it's walled off sufficiently, like?
I haven't seen the outside plan, but it's not, there's no alcohol. And we're very, you do have seating.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we're very happy with just another family place.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. I noticed on the floor plan, there's a restroom for the staff, but no public restroom, is that correct?
And the public restrooms, we're within the 300 feet of the public restrooms in the main mall.
Okay.
And it looks like you've got about 38 seats?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. How long have you had the other restaurant?
It'll be 3 years, November 9th, coming up.
Okay, and any issues come up with that?
We've not had any issues. We were voted the top 10 most dangerous corners in the state, and because we don't have a drive-through, we have had 2 accidents in 3 years of people coming out of the parking lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We won't have any of those issues.
No.
Well, let's hope.
And how are
Not intended to be a drive-through.
This is good that
Yes.
people
How are
are
these
showing up.
burgers? How do they compare to, why would people come specifically to your restaurant?
They're all fresh, made to order. You're not going to get in and out within 2 to 3 minutes. It takes
Okay,
me,
so it's not fast food?
no, it takes a minimum of 6 minutes to cook one meal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's assuming you're not getting chicken, then you're looking at somewhere around 10 minutes.
Okay, so you're going to have more than hamburgers, is that
Yes.
right?
It's hamburgers, chicken, there are salads, there's fish involved.
Turkey, hot dogs, salads, milkshakes, so we have a pretty wide menu.
Okay. And when do you expect to be up and running?
Actually, we're shooting for November 9th. It'd be fun to open up both of them at the same time. Our first store was 60, our second store is 160. So I told my third store I wanted it to be 260.
Okay, any other questions? Okay.
Welcome to Kingston.
Thank you.
Thank
Do we
you.
need to make a motion, or no?
Yep.
Okay, I move to approve the issuance of a common victualler license to Euro Restaurant Group 1 LLC doing business as Wayback Burgers, 101 Kingston Collection Way, F112, expiring December 31st, 2015, subject to the following conditions being met. Final inspection and approval by the Health Department, issuance of an occupancy permit by Inspectional Services, and submission of proof of workers' compensation insurance to the Board of Selectmen's office. Now, I only have a question. Why is this expiring December 31st? Do we renew
Well,
every?
They renew.
We renew everybody
Calendar, yeah.
then? Okay, very good.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. All right.
Thank you for coming to Kingston.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Welcome.
Luck. You have what?
workers' comp.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So remember, frequent them all. The
Yep.
Kingston
Curious
collections.
if that was it, if it has the seating like that, yeah,
Yeah.
like a Johnny Rockets
Yeah.
shoe
Yeah.
yeah.
Being 6:15, we have the Council on Aging
Getting
Chair,
hungry.
Joseph Favillaro,
haven't had
to
dinner
give us an update. I'm getting better.
That was a good shot.
You can repeat it so we can get it right, so I can get it right.
Favillaro.
Favaloro.
Hello, okay.
I'm Joe Favaloro from 60 Indian Pond Road. I'm the chairman of the Kingston Council on Aging. We've all seen drawings and pictures of seniors sitting in rocking chairs, watching life go away in a very boring way. Well, this isn't the Kingston Council of Aging. It isn't the Senior Center. The Senior Center is very vibrant, and it's a dynamic focal point in which all elders can come, gather, and have enjoyment in some way. In part, our mission statement says, to advocate the independent lifestyle and quality of the senior community through the promotion of wellness, education, recreation, and socialization. And I believe we do it well. For wellness, we have 3 types of Zumba. We have Zumba Beginners, Zumba, and Zumba Gold. We do blood pressure screening, pedicare, flu clinics, meals on Thursday where we serve anywhere from 80 to 100 people out of a kitchen that was designed to serve 40 to 50. We have congregate daily meals. We serve Meals on Wheels. There's about 40 Meals on Wheels a day. We have yoga, glucose screening, outreach, and Shine, which is serving the health insurance needs of everyone. And I'd like to just digress for a second. One of our regular patrons of the center was homeless. And at a recent board meeting, he wanted us to recognize Ralph Calderero, who was our Shine representative. And he credits Ralph for saving his life, getting him off of the streets, and he's living in an apartment now. So Shine does a little bit more than just the health insurance. From an education standpoint, we have grief support, emergency preparedness. We're presently in our 2nd session of the National Program on Aging Mastery. We have 2 different computer classes with a 3rd in the works. We've had discussions on chronic disease, strokes, and growing old gracefully. For recreation and socialization, we have bingo. That's played for real money. We have candy bingo for those with sweet teeth. We have mind joggers. And if you want to jog your mind, come over on one of the Fridays and see some of these older folks that know some things that we've never heard of. We have the Friends Tea, Friday at the movies, needlers knitting, oil painting, quilting. We've had Italian meals presented by a restaurant in Quincy for a minimal cost. And we've had musical entertainment sponsored by the Friends. And speaking of the Friends last year, for the fiscal year ended in July, contributed $11,000 in one way or another to the council. And they are sponsoring the Thanksgiving and Christmas meals here at the center for 140 people each meal. Total cost, $3,000. And I'd be remiss in not thanking the police and fire department for acting as servers and helping in the kitchen. And I saw Elaine last year with an apron on helping too. Total activities for the fiscal year ended, individual activities, 35,927. For the first quarter of 16, we've had 8,900 and 8 individual activities. We also have 2 vans that we get from GATRA that are used to shuttle people from their homes to stores, doctor's appointments, banks, and so on. Their use has increased tremendously. In 2015, for the full fiscal year, we had 25,158 miles. For the first quarter of 16, 12,078. 3,762 trips last year, 2,017 for the quarter.
Wow.
All of this couldn't be done without the volunteers. Last year, our volunteers put in 8,903 hours. For Q1 of 16, 2,245 hours. This does not include tax work-offs. From an FTE standpoint, last year, 4.4 FTEs, full-time equivalents. Minimum wage saved us $80,127. This year, 2,245 hours, 1.1 FTE, and $20,205 of savings. We have 63 hardworking, friendly volunteers, and we can use more. So if anybody's interested in volunteering, call the center at 781-585-0511. They don't even have to be seniors to be volunteers. Everybody is welcome. Upcoming activities and points of interest. Right now we have 65 separate activities at the center. That's a lot considering how small the center really is. Upcoming, the Visiting Angels are making a presentation on tips to managing dementia. We've got musical entertainment, again sponsored by the Friends. We've got author series. The first author that we had was Ralph Della Chiesa, who also used to be a DJ in Boston. We've got the Locavore series, Aging Mastery, Yoga, Shine, regarding changes in Medicare and Medicaid. We got Mind Joggers, Quilting Book Club, Tammy's Pack TV show, Young at Heart, which airs on Pack TV on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8 and 11:30 in the morning. And on Fridays, there's a bonus at 6 o'clock in the evening. There's going to be a spin-off of her TV show, and it's going to be just 10 minutes, as I understand. And it'll be Inside Health Insurance with Anna Kelly from the center. We're also bringing in, you ready for this one? Pickleball. At the Reed Building, more book club groups, trivia nights, and we have free 15-minute consultations with a local attorney and more. Everything is in the Anchor, our newspaper, and you can go to the council's Facebook page at facebook.com/Kingston Council on Aging. On November 9, WATV, the local radio station, will be broadcasting from the center on Monday, November 9 at 6:15 through 8 o'clock in the evening. They'll be interviewing various individuals associated with the center, and the co-hosts will be Kevin Tachi of WATV and our own Tammy Murray. And that is our senior center in Council on Aging. Anybody have any questions? Comments?
Who was the Quincy restaurant?
You know, I forget the name. He's done it twice now.
Really?
And one of our volunteers, Phil Pallone, and also Al Bacella, know him personally. and they've arranged for him to come, and the food is incredible,
That's awesome.
absolutely incredible.
See anything?
One of the things that we were aiming for when we changed the job description and title to the Director of Elder Affairs is for the center to actually take care of and help the elderly in our town. And you have certainly done that. You've achieved that goal and gone far beyond, and I want to thank you for that. You and Tammy and all the volunteers.
Don't thank me. We're just an advisory board. The people to thank is Tammy,
Mm-hmm.
her team, and the volunteers.
And so I do. Very, very well
Well
done. Thank
taken.
you.
And thank you for bringing all those statistics with you, because you hear the center is busy, but until you put it into perspective like that, it's remarkable, the increase in the activities, and when you figure it's open 20 days a month and you've got 65 different activities going on. It's
crazy.
And it is sincere caring for each other and cooperation.
Oh, yeah.
With the council and the friends and the staff, or it wouldn't be as successful as it is. So thank you very much, because I know you're a big part
No,
of it.
we thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Just,
that it?
just to tie into that, I would make the motion that relates to the council, if appropriate.
You're giving us a big increase in our budget for this?
Some staff, maybe.
I move to lift the hiring freeze to fill 2 part-time council on aging van driver positions due to vacancies.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, just to add to that motion, we did have a retirement. One of the long-term drivers, Donald Drew, did retire, and after many, many years of serving the seniors. So that was, thank you, Don.
Nice.
So we've got a few minutes. Do you want to do number 5 for new business? Request to lift the hiring freeze to fill the position of a plant operator in the wastewater department due to retirement.
I move to lift the hiring freeze to fill the position of wastewater treatment plant operator due to a retirement effective October 30th, 2015. I further move to lift the hiring freeze to fill the positions of operations and maintenance technician and wastewater laborer in the wastewater department should they become vacant due to the departmental promotions in accordance with the terms of the KTEU collective bargaining agreement. Second. And I also move to delegate to the town administrator the authority to hire, in conjunction with the wastewater superintendent, the wastewater treatment plant operator, and the wastewater operations and maintenance technician, if the positions are filled by promotions from within the wastewater department in accordance with the terms of the KTEU collective bargaining agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just to give a little brief explanation of that, what it is there's Grant Richards is retiring after being there basically since day one of the plant opening, and thank you, Grant, for your service. And the odds are that an internal staff member will be promoted to that position. So rather than having them come back every two weeks at a selectmen's meeting asking for to lift the hiring freeze again and again, it would be December 1st before it could be staffed. So that was just,
Elaine, did you abstain from that vote?
yes, I did.
So it's a 4-0-1. Okay.
Okay, 6:30, we have a public hearing, application for Peter J. Obchinsky, Treasurer of Southeastern Sand and Gravel, Inc., for an earth removal permit for the purpose of constructing the balance of Fountain Knoll Lane and grading house lots per the approved subdivision plan for Tall Timbers Estates, Phase 4. And I'll just read the public notice. The Board of Selectmen of the Town of Kingston will hold a public hearing at 6:30 PM on the Tuesday, October 20th, 2015, at the Townhouse, 26 Evergreen Street, Kingston, Mass., in room 200, on the application of Peter J. Obchinsky, Treasurer of Southeastern Sand and Gravel, Inc., 27 Pine Hill Road, Kingston, Mass., 02364, for an earth removal permit. The applicant asks to be able to remove in one phase 89,531 cubic yards of sand and gravel off-site and 55,943 cubic yards of sand and gravel on-site from 21 acres on a site owned by Southeastern Sand and Gravel, Inc., known as Kingston's Assessors Parcel Number 071-200-043, 9 Smith Fuller Way, for the purpose of constructing the balance of Fountain Knoll Lane, Road A, and grading house lots per the approved subdivision plan. Requested hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. The application and plans are on file in the Selectman's office at the Townhouse and may be viewed Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. In addition, the waiting for confirmation of the certified mailings, but the abutters have been notified, and I'm going to quickly read. Do I need to read those into the record? The abutter list?
Yes, I would read them. And do we have proof of service?
Laurie's still waiting for that if, oh, okay.
Looks like he has them.
Okay, I'll start reading. Abutters. Parcel number 053-005-000, CMA number 053-005-000, property address Offering Road, mailing address Kelleher Sean T., 1924 Shiver Drive, Alexandria, Virginia, 22307. Parcel number 053-006-000, CMA number 053-006-000, property address Offering Road, mailing address Matthias Lydia, 80 Wapping Road, Kingston, Mass. 02364. Parcel number 053-007-000, CMA number -053-007-000, property address Wapping Road, mailing address Matthias Joseph B. and Lydia A., 80 Wapping Road, Kingston, Mass. 02364. Parcel number 062-004-00, CMA number 062-004-000, property address Offering Road, mailing address DMF nominee Trust Fernandez A.E. and D. M. Trust, 30 North Main Street, Carver, Mass. 02330. Parcel number 062-014-000, CMA number 062-014-000, property address 34 South Street, mailing address Forcia Mary Honeyfield Robert, trustees Marie Antoinette Trust, 34 South Street, Kingston, Mass. 02364. Parcel number 062-014-001, CMA number 062-014-001, property address 28 South Street, mailing address Machad Lisa M. and Joel trustees, 28 South Street Realty Trust, 28 South Street, Kingston, Mass. 02364. Parcel number 070-200-082, CMA number 070-200-082, property address off Bogview Drive, mailing address Miller Boggs LLC, 27 Pine Hill Road, Kingston, Mass. 02364. Parcel number 071-011-000, CMA number 071-011-000, property address off South Street, mailing address Wildlands Trust, Inc., P.O. Box 2282, Duxbury, Mass. 02331. Parcel number 071-200-018, CMA number 071-200-018, property address Pine Hill Road, mailing address Southeastern Sand and Gravel, Cheryl Miller, 27 Pine Hill Road, Kingston, Mass. 02364. Parcel number 071-200-036, CMA number 071-200-036, property address 23 Bog View Road, mailing address Southeastern Sand and Gravel, Cheryl Miller, 27 Pine Hill Road, Kingston, Mass. 02364. Parcel number 071-200-037, CMA number 071-200-37, property address 15 Bog View Road, mailing address Gunderson Paul M. and Pavoni Lisa M., 15 Bog View Road, Kingston, Mass. 02364. Now, the remaining parcels, can I just read the parcel numbers?
Yeah, I
And
think
they're all,
just the property address and the mailing address.
because they're all southeastern. The remaining,
There's one champion.
yeah, the very last one.
Yeah.
Parcel number 072-001-000, CMA number 072-001-00, property address 24 South Street, mailing address Cushman F. Senior, trustee John F. Cushman Senior Family Trust, 24 South Street, Kingston, Mass. 02364. Now, parcel number 071-200-041, CMA number 071-200-041, property address 18 Fountain Knoll Lane, mailing address Champion Builders, Inc., 68 Evergreen Street, Kingston, Mass. 02364. Now, the remaining parcel numbers and property address that I'm going to read are all, the mailing address is all Southeastern Sand and Gravel, Cheryl Miller, 27 Pine Hill Road, Kingston, Mass. 02364. And they are parcel number 071-200-039, property address 16 Smith Fuller Way. Parcel number 071-200-040, property address 10 Smith Fuller Way. Parcel number 071-200-045, property address 36 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-046, property address 40 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-047, property address 44 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-048, property address 48 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-049, property address 52 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-050, property address 56 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-051, property address 60 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-052, property address 65 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-053, 61 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-054, property address 57 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-055, property address 53 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-056, property address 49 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-058, property address 41 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-059, property address 37 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-084, property address 28 Bog View Road. Parcel number 071-200-086, property address off Fountain Knoll Lane. Okay, now that that has been read, why don't you,
I promise not to take that long.
just identify yourself and explain the project.
Peter Ropaczynski, representing Southeastern Sand and Gravel. With me is Dana Miller. He's president of Southeastern Sand and Gravel. Just to give you a brief history on the property, our dads became partners in the mid-1960s, and they ran a sand and gravel pit and ready-mix concrete business on the property from, I believe, 1964 up until 2007. Our dads have both passed away, and Dana and I are now responsible for developing the property, restoring the old gravel pit, things of that nature. So as the chairman noted, we're looking for an earth removal permit, which will allow us to finish the roads in our final phase of Tall Timbers Estates. Tall Timbers Estates was approved by the planning board in 2009. There were 80 lots approved. We've sold about half of those 80 lots. Right now, the roads have been completed where the old entrance used to go into Southeastern. They head down this way to a previous phase of Tall Timbers that was done, so this road is all paved. All the homes have been built in this area. On this circle here, about half the homes have been built in this area. Roads are all in and paved. And in this section up in here, there's 7 or 8 houses under construction right now, and that road is in place. So right now, our intent is to have this section of road paved by the end of this year, because we have a commitment to sell finished lots to our builder. So we've been required to obtain an earth removal permit to remove about 89,000 yards of material located in this section off-site. About 55,000 yards were needed on-site just to balance the topography out here that existed. Any of the previous earth removal that was done in this area was basically to restore the old gravel pit. There were, piles of material everywhere. We've leveled out the land and made it presentable for use as house lots. So what we're left with in this is this one particular section right here, where we have no more need for material on-site. So we're looking to remove that material off-site, and that generally triggers an earth removal permit. So the problem our engineer was up against with as far as generating this material was up in this corner at the cul-de-sac. We were dealing with an elevation of 130 feet. And on the opposite side of the road, the rear of the lots were at elevation 80. So across the lots here on the road, there was a 50-foot change in elevation. So what our engineer did was kind of split the difference between the 130 feet and the 80 feet and set the grade of the cul-de-sac at elevation 114. So the problem in doing that, it left us with about a 20-foot difference in elevation between the road and the lots on this side of the road. And as you know, especially after last winter, nobody wants steep driveways. They want flat yards, place for kids to play, and not have to worry about the kids rolling out in the street on their bikes. So what we did was, rather than have a steep driveway in the front of the houses, we designed the subdivision such that there was a slope created at the rear of the house going up to the woods. And similarly, on the other side, we kept the houses up near the street, and then we'll have a slope that drops off towards the woods on this side. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. We've built the rest of the subdivision, and now we have no need for the 89,000 yards of material on site. So our only option is to haul it off site.
Okay. Any questions? Questions of the board? Okay, just for clarification, you're looking to remove 89,531 cubic yards.
Correct.
And you're allowed to remove 1,000 cubic yards per parcel, so you're allowed to remove 80,000 cubic yards?
Well, that was if we didn't apply for an earth removal permit. I believe Paul's a little bit more familiar with the bylaw, so.
Okay. Paul, would you want to educate us?
A lot of this is coming out of the roadway. That individual lot, less than 1,000 yards, you'd have to plot each lot. And because they're lower in the whole place, 20 or 30 feet, you'd exceed it on all of these lots. You didn't exceed it on the other lots, but you exceeded on this lots. Because there's not that many lots to get to 80,000. There's what, maybe 20? So I think you can justify the stuff remaining on-site shifting along, but there is going to be an excess that's going off-site.
Okay, because our earth removal permit, based on the last permit we issued, we charged 25 cents per cubic yard. So we're talking charging 25 cents per cubic yard for 89,531 cubic yards?
In the past, there has been, in some of the other earth removal permits that have gone on in town, the stuff that was kept on site to do the road work was not included in that. It was just the stuff that went off site.
Okay,
So
this
is
says
this-
off-site.
Is this the amount that's going off-site, the 89,000? Okay.
Off-site.
So it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so I need to clarify this for myself also. If you have 20 lots that you're working on right now, and you're allowed 1,000 cubic yards per lot, then wouldn't you take that 20,000 from the 89 and come up with 69,000 cubic yards that's actually
I think
going
that'd be
off-site?
a fair calculation that we'd live with.
Yeah.
It's an either-or situation, Paul?
Well, you know, I'm not going to get into.
Well, it's unfair to charge him for 89 if he's only taking, if
Well,
he's
there's
allowed
50
20,
There's 50 that are staying on site. That's all coming from the same place.
50 out of the 89?
On the last permit, the stuff that was going off-site from the big pond, that's what you charged on. There was other stuff that was used on-site to fix roads and stuff. That wasn't charged.
Okay, so what's going off-site now, out of the 20 lots and the roadway?
Out of that portion, there's going to be almost 60,000 yards that are moving other places.
Correct.
And there's 80,000 that are taken off-site.
Yeah, that was my
Which is the
question.
culmination of everything.
So that's taken into consideration, any allotments or anything like that with this 1,000 cubic yards per foot. Literally coming off-site is the 89,000 at 25 cents per cubic yard would be about $22,000 that would be paid. That's what I'm trying to get to is,
Right. So I
just
live-
so we're
I
all
live in
under
this
the same
neighborhood.
page here.
I live in this neighborhood. I walk my dog on the stubbed-in road all the time. It's
Yeah,
a
probably
great
right,
space. I think it's going to be fantastic. But when you get to the rear, if you peel to the left, you know, you look down, it's a skiable hill.
Correct.
To go down here. So clearly, there's a lot of dirt to be moved around on the site before you would be necessitated to take any off-site. So after you have, you know, moved everything that you can down to the lower level, is it 89,000 that's coming off, or is it 69 that's coming
There's
off?
89,000 yards left over, on paper. I mean, if there's a topography issue, things like that, or, you know, we need some more fill, say to fill around some house lots, that number could go down. I mean, the numbers that I presented tonight are strictly based on, a calculation based on the plans.
So the other thing too is in this area, approximately, there's a real dip in the road that comes back up. Are you filling that in?
That's going to be filled. We have to install a turtle tunnel there.
Okay. A little natural heritage meeting or
Yes.
two? or
Yeah, we were, there's a $200,000 tunnel going in to allow turtles safe passage across our roadways, or under our roadways.
It's everything that's wrong with
So we didn't want to fill that
Commonwealth.
and then dig it back out to put the tunnel in. So the tunnel will go in and it will fill up the top of the tunnel.
Okay,
It's
so,
pretty much the same, we have.
I was just thinking, because that's got to be 10 or 20,000 square feet of cubic feet
Cubic
of
yards.
material.
Yeah, there's a good slug going
that
in
have
there.
used to level that off.
Right.
okay, Sandy?
Okay, a question to Paul, if I can. So the 89,000 that's going off-site, has that already taken into consideration the 1,000 cubic yards per lot that he can take off without a permit?
If you really want to get technical with the bylaw, that other 50,000 is included because, or you could say there's 39,000 out of that 59,000 they could take as a matter of right. There's still another 39,000 that's staying on site, but it's still subject to the earth removal bylaw.
Okay.
But in the past, historically, we haven't, if you left it on site, we didn't charge anybody for it.
Okay, so
So
we,
should we
Because it
be,
didn't go anywhere, and they didn't make any money on it.
so
They
we're
just
talking
moved
the
it.
80, do you want to say something?
Yeah, but there was also earth removal before today
Right.
on that site. So I think this is taken into consideration.
This is the whole
What's already been
culmination.
removed, correct? That
We're going
8,000.
strictly by what the plans dictated as far
Yeah.
as
okay, fine.
Yeah.
where the existing
That's
grade
fine.
is and where we have to end up.
And I think that as far as, there was some talk about surety. In this particular case, he's doing it to the subdivision plan. The engineers have reviewed it, it's doing it to the subdivision plan, and that there's surety through the planning process for the subdivision to make sure it's done according to the plan, prior to get the lots released, or provide bonding so they can build the lots. So I think we're covered on that.
Yeah, it
Part
says
of it.
tri-party agreement. This is for people at home. Tri-party agreement between Planning Board, Rockland Trust, and Southeastern Sand and Gravel for the surety.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Madam Chairman,
yes,
Identify yourself.
Michael Kennefic, Town Council, I'm not Lori at the moment. Yeah, the surety can be waived under Article 8, as long as the board is satisfied that there's some sort of other security or bond in place that will cover the work. So in this case, you can, if you feel comfortable, waive surety here, since there's already one in place for the planning
Okay.
board.
and from earth removal perspective, give or take, we're removing 89,000 square feet, 89,000 cubic feet, give or take, whatever the
Give or
final.
take, that's what is going to be trucked off-site.
Okay.
How long of a process is that going to take?
I think we put in our permit an average of 40 truckloads a day. So say 1,000 yards a day would be probably our best day. There'll be days when we only take a few truckloads out. So it'll be, I would say it would be between now and next, say June. That's when our final lots are scheduled to be sold to the builder that's doing the houses.
What's the start time, what's the end time for that removal during the day?
During the day, the operating hours, 7 a.m. till 5 p.m.
I'm gonna hear those dump trucks.
You just up the hill.
Boom.
Any more questions from the board? Go ahead, Sandy.
Can you describe what you're going to do for safety while you're excavating all of this, these high elevations that are going to come down?
The high elevations, if you look at any of the work that we've done there, I happen to be in the earth-moving business. I mean, we build roads for a living. We have to abide by all the OSHA requirements, trench permits, things like that. So our supervisors that are on site are aware of any of the OSHA requirements. We preach to our guys to just pretend there's going to be an OSHA inspection within the next hour, and we operate that way.
There was an incident in Plymouth that had to do with a high banking, but the banking
Yes.
was like 100 or 150 feet high. They don't have any cuts that are anywhere near that. So I
Okay,
don't
so
think-
I was talking about during the operation, though, during the hours of operation. And at the very end of the day, when things are settled, the slopes have to be at a certain point so that any kids wandering in or any teenagers wandering in won't
Correct. So
get hurt.
what we do in that case is either the bankings are sloped or we put up an orange safety fence. That's how we've
That
handled
was
our...
my next question.
Back when we had earth removal permits from like 95 until the early 2000s, that's what we did when we were excavating up along Elm Street. We put in, thousands of feet of orange safety fence just because there were kids along the houses along Elm Street that we wanted to keep away from that excavation. And I think Paul will verify that there were never any incidences with any of our earth removal operations in the past, other than some dust complaints.
Okay, and that was my next question. How are you going to control the dust? Do you have the water?
Yeah, we have a water truck on site,
truck.
and Paul's brand new one. I drove it from Virginia myself.
Oh, excellent. And we should have no dust problems then.
So we're aware of it, and I think if you looked at, I know when I was a kid, this used to be referred to as the Sahara of South Kingston by a few news reporters in the area, so we've greatly improved that situation. So we're down to like the final 20 acres out of, 200 acres that used to be prone to dust.
Okay, I've just one more question. The hours of operation, 7 o'clock in the morning, having those trucks leave the site seems a little bit early. Can you shorten that up a little bit?
7:30? The problem is, we take material into Boston, and if we don't leave, by 7, we get absolutely annihilated in traffic. So even 7:30 makes it very difficult.
Well, our
I'd
general noise
agree
bylaws
to-
are like 7.
It's Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, and then on the week, on Saturdays, I can change that.
I know his bylaws states 7 o'clock in
7
the
o'clock,
morning.
right.
So they're taking the left and going to Boston.
I would say 50/50. It's going to go probably half one way and half the other way. We have some projects that are out in the 495 area, Middleborough, whatnot, so all that material would take a right going out of Southeastern.
What are you willing to do on Saturdays as far as hours?
Saturdays, I think in the application, I moved it back till 8 o'clock.
Does say
I
8
think
on
it's 8 o'clock,
Saturdays.
yeah.
And are you working on Sunday?
No.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions from the board?
No, it's just that with the traffic going two different ways, it minimizes the potential impact,
Right.
on one neighborhood. Yeah.
Share the wealth.
Yep, share the wealth. Yeah.
Okay, anybody here from the public to speak in favor of this permit? Anyone here to speak against it? Okay, then we'll bring it back to the board. If no other questions, we can,
I move to close the public hearing.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Michael, would you like to say anything that,
Help us with the motion.
If there's a motion to approve the application, we can go through what I would recommend the motion would include.
okay, why don't,
Let's hear from that.
A motion to approve the application would be the first part. Number 2, waive surety under Chapter 12, Article 8. The permit, number 3, the permit fee of 25 cents a yard, which is permissible. And the hours, whatever you feel as though you want to set for the hours, I would make as the fourth condition.
just looking at the previous earth removal permit, we had a lot of conditions in it stating about the water, the dust and all that. Can we include some of
Yes,
those?
under Article 12 and 13, those are actually mandatory requirements that are attached to the issuance of
Okay.
a permit. And it's mostly standard language, and I think you're familiar with them. They go over the watering and the trucking and,
And, yeah, in restoration, if there is any, and retain subsoil. I'm just looking at our last permit with 27 conditions and make sure that we mirror this as much as is appropriate for this project.
yes. Well, the last permit was much more involved. There were a lot more issues. So there were conditions that extended beyond what was in 12 and 13. But here, the conditions listed in 12 and 13 would attach to the approval.
Okay,
And it's actually mandatory under your bylaws.
okay.
All right. What do
Who's
you
got
say?
it?
And just one more thing. We don't know how much has already been taken out. Do we have a firm number on that? Or firm cubic yards, which brought us all here today?
There were, I think there were 2 days where we hauled, and then we
Do you
agreed to
do you
haul.
include those in the amount?
So that's all included in the amount. Like I said, I'm going strictly by the plans as far as what is shown, so that would be accounted for.
Okay.
The total that he gave included the stuff that he got rambunctious about.
Okay, I just want to make sure that,
I missed a quick question. When do we think the end date is?
he said sometime in June.
Okay.
Yeah, June.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that
And these are pre-selling.
Right. they were
that
covered.
amount includes that.
I did have one question. On the 25 cents per cubic yard, again, we're basing it off of topography. It could end up being 50 or 60, so is there...
We do trip tickets, if you want to do
I mean, we do a log sheet every day. Our operators fill out a log sheet. Is it okay if I just coordinate that with Paul? I give him the log sheets like once a week?
Did you keep the old ones?
Can I explain?
Sure.
They email me, Lopes emails me the trip tickets and how much they've taken out in a month, and then after a month and a half, then they give the town a check, so.
Yeah, that was a condition.
It's their tally, but it's close enough.
That's how the town has done it on all the previous permits.
Right, so do we make that a condition, that the tally sheets need to be turned in? Because it was a condition in this one.
And then,
Yes.
and then after that month is over, then they supply the check for the month, the previous month.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
That's acceptable.
Do you want this motion?
So
I don't know that I'm not.
everything we've talked about, would that revise our current motion that you read for us?
Someone who has the prior one in hand should make it.
You can add that as the, part of the third condition, that 25 cents a yard would be measured by trip tickets, which is the standard language that we've used in all the prior.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think there would be any other way to measure it.
Right,
No, agreed.
yeah.
But if we don't get it in the condition, then
Mhm.
it,
Okay, I'll make that motion with all the conditions of town council.
Do we have to say it?
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Do we have to say it?
Say what?
Well, if you just make the motion as.
As,
As
I
presented.
stated.
As outlined by
As
town
built.
council, yeah.
Second.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'll draft it.
Okay,
You've already approved it, so when I send it to you, just review it and you can execute it. You don't need to
Okay.
have another meeting. So-
okay,
So I'll have that in the next few days, too.
okay. Okay, we have a 6:45 request to issue 3 razor clam licenses. Kyle Injemy, Deputy Shellfish Constable, would just like to present what you have. And while Kyle's getting up there, basically, there's 10 licenses, 3 people did not renew, so there's 3 openings.
Yep.
And you've got those names for us?
Yep. We have Thomas S. Bouchard, William H. Wormlin, and Tyler Bouchard.
Anybody have any questions of Kyle?
Yes.
Commercial razor license.
Can you tell me how often we're issuing a license to more than one family member at an address?
How often?
Yeah.
Let's see, we have,
We have several,
let's see, 2 at the same address right now. We have another family that has 2 as well.
yeah.
Yep, and now we're doing another 2.
So your feeling about that, is that something you want to continue doing, or?
They work together.
They work together,
They've stepped
okay.
forward and have done it, and they seem to work together fine. I mean, it is a job where it's better to have 2 people doing it than one. There's a lot of lugging,
Okay,
a lot of moving, heavy stuff, so it is better to have 2 people there.
excellent. Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Yep.
These were people who were on a waiting list, or they applied when they found out there were going to be vacancies?
They applied when they found out there's going to be vacancies, but now we do have a waiting list.
We have a waiting list
Yes.
now, but we did not have one before, is that correct?
No.
Okay.
And these guys are top of the order as far as that waiting list
Yes,
is concerned.
From what I understand from the harbor master, he said that the waiting list was created because these people have been asking for any available licenses.
Yep, they've been
So
asking.
that's how they got,
So they
The-
basically created it
they
themselves?
created the waiting list, yes.
Okay.
Can I ask something? So it expires, the season expires October 31st, correct?
For
Yes.
recreational, but our razor clam goes year-round,
It does, okay.
in the approved
Commercial-
spot, not in the
commercial goes year-round. Okay.
unconditional spot.
I don't have my
Motion.
motion sheet.
When do they expire? Oh, so these are year-round, but would they expire on the 31st? Like all our other licenses?
They run July 1st to June 30th.
Yeah.
July 1st.
We
So
just
this would
issued 7 in June.
So if we issue to these 3 individuals that expire June 30th? Okay,
2016, I think.
all right, so we had Tommy Bouchard, Tyler Bouchard, and what was the third one?
William Wormald Jr.
Yep,
What was,
it was,
William Wormwald. Okay, I'll make the motion.
yep, did you get it?
Okay, I make a motion that we issue the 3 additional razor clam licenses to Thomas Bouchard, Tyler Bouchard, and William Wormwald expiring June 30th, 2016.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I think we do need to put some more, put a policy together.
I agree.
We've verbally mimicked Duxbury, that, there's the waiting list, it's held at the harbor master's office, and it's whoever gets their name on first, is basically Duxbury's policy. So I think we just need to put something in writing, and then approve it as, have the harbor master look at it, and obviously you as the shellfish warden, and then voted as a
I agree.
standing policy.
Yeah, then everyone knows what our policy is, and as
Exactly.
well as the board.
Right.
You know, everyone has the same rules.
So we can work on that.
Is it the type of thing that there are any real qualifications or like certifications you need to be trained in doing anything?
All of our guys doing it are commercial fishermen, except for 2 of them right now, but they are experienced in shell fishing. Yeah, it's something, if you're not into shell fishing, you wouldn't even want to do it.
Oh, okay.
We receive the recreational shellfish, but we do not receive the razor clams. They're seeding themselves rapidly.
The clams are, or the clam pickers are?
The clams are reseeding themselves, the razor clams are reseeding
Naturally.
themselves. Yep, naturally.
But the commercial pickers are gonna go through it. That's what happened, but I don't even know this, because when I lived in Rocky Mount, and my kids were little, there were so many, clam, what do we call them, the ones that you stay selling on the.
Mussels?
Mussels.
Yeah.
You couldn't,
Right. That's why now we're doing, all our razor clams file catch reports, and with those catch reports, we have, we compile data, and we can see all of the data over the past 2 years. We can see if it's going up and down, the days fished versus the pounds harvested. Yeah, and we can see now that we're short 3, we have a much more razor clams than we did.
And there is a course you take, I know, I went to California Clams College.
And you work with the state on all these numbers, and they basically tell you what to
Right.
do and what
Yeah,
not to do.
we have a marine biologist from the Division of Marine Fisheries that helps us out, advises us. It's Kelly Kleister.
Okay, Sandy?
So is it not true that one of the reasons we don't want the razor clam population getting too big is because they're a detriment to the aquaculture?
Exactly,
the
they'll
oysters?
take over the spots that we're seeding. Yep, we seed, last year we seeded 100,000 soft shell, and the razor clams will just move in and take over because they multiply so rapidly.
So this is actually a very good thing that we.
Right, we're helping our
Population
recreational
control.
fishery
It'll help.
by doing this.
Excellent, thanks.
Okay, you good?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
thanks,
great.
Kyle.
Thank you.
Okay, last appointment, we have introduction of Greenway concept and request for letter of support from the town administrator, selectmen to reclaim the property and restore grading with urban soils and negotiate administrative consent order with Mass DEP, Mary O'Donnell and Green Seal Environmental.
Before I start that, I have the best news of all tonight.
Okay.
I'm about to get a letter from their attorney that says that the money is set aside for,
For your hospital?
yes, for 232,000 square feet.
Really?
Excellent.
Proudly present this. Got it today.
Can I date
Very
and
nice.
stamp it?
Please.
Will you sign it for us?
Paul Gallagher.
I need it certified.
And just for the record, I only heard, the broker read me the draft letter from this Bill Shapiro, whatever his, William Shapiro, whatever his name was, of what it said, that they have set aside funds. So, I'm very
Oh, this will be a
happy.
reality then?
So it's a reality.
Okay.
And this is the first draft of, I know this isn't really the whole thing, I'm not here really for the village, but
Right.
I can't help myself. Because this is the first draft back from the architects, and I do like the basic layout, but those consultants that the town has on the master plan, one of them had a very nice idea that I liked better than this. Some of the plan shows, like, for example, this one, shows a rooftop over. I don't like that, you know, I want them smaller roadways, just like they do in Europe, the old-fashioned villages, where people came out, they walked in front, there were no cars, the cars are in the back, 90% of all the cars are going to be underneath, but you're going to be able to come in and come out, so you're not in there. But say you want to go to the bakery, so on the wall, it will be this huge sign with a loaf of bread on it, so you can figure that's where to park. If it's for the pub, there's a beer mug hanging. So, you know, even I can figure out where to park. So, parking, I think, is really, really important for a village, because you don't really want cars. You don't want to be eating outside and cars going by or parking and falling. Anyway, so it's really going to be cool. But this and that, but for third phase, well, we're really here tonight because if you want to dig out your backyard and it comes to the DEP, they don't let you just take it anywhere. You have to go get permission, and it really does not belong in the landfills, which was really what the opportunities were. So the DEP has been reaching out to people like me that have sites like such as mine that have been doing recycling for many years, and they said, will you accept urban fill? Just like when the town's cleaning out the harbor. As long as the soil is clean and passes DEP, which is a very stringent thing, and these are the consultants for Gil Lopes on his dime, I want to tell you, but they won't let their company monitor it. So it has to be a whole different company monitoring, because they're doing the designing and the permitting. So then another consultant has to monitor, which is, that's the way it is. But DEP gets involved, and they're the ones that say, for every job that's going on, this can go here, this can go here. So it's clean soil, but it's not virgin soil. It's been someplace else before, okay? So, but anything that's contaminated does not go there, does not belong there, and nor do I want it there. However, in keeping with sustainability and recycling, I'm all for it. So, I think the biggest issue for the town, say me taking the town's soil, would be that it has salt. And I think that, and that's hard to grow stuff, because some of the stuff, if you can use it for potting soil and whatever, for to grow flowers and stuff. So everything will be tested and monitored, and it's going to go in its proper place. So the plan is to put this urban fill only on this place in front of turbine 1, 600 feet away from turbine 1, that comes up how many feet, Michael? 150 feet. And then I have views, which I used to have, of Duxbury Bay, Kingston Bay, and one of them even goes out to Saquesh. Gorgeous. And I have to say, when I originally started taking that section down, it broke my heart. But I had to do it to keep the land. I mean, I was in the business. That's how I maintained. I would have lost the land 20 years ago if I didn't have the earth removal to keep me in business. So now this is an opportunity to one small section of it, build it back up, and the plan is to build basically ocean view condos on the top of it, but also on the side of it to do like they do in Greece. They put the houses or the condos or the apartments coming down the mountain. So they're built into the mountain, which is gorgeous, and then they'll overlook the village. So some will have the bay view and some will have village view. So that's the plan.
Okay, so there's an excavation site somewhere in the state that has fill that you've been approached to take their fill.
Right.
Under the guidance of DEP.
Myself and other people, yes.
So basically, you're taking urban fill, you're taking dirt.
Right.
From another site,
Right.
but it's based on the sample order that's in our packets. There's a rigorous vetting that gets done to make sure that it's not contaminated.
Yeah, before the DEP gives who's ever excavating. You know what? Let me have the
Okay.
expert answer your
Okay.
questions. Oh, thank you. And this is just from the different ways we put it in, this is just the first draft. What you
Thank you.
I'm Jim Luker. I'm a licensed site professional and professional geologist. I work for a company called Green Seal Environmental. We're a consulting firm. We specialize in environmental issues, solid waste, have a lot of experience with handling soils and so forth, and have done a lot of work with Mr. Lopes over the years. So what Mary was talking about is that DEP has recognized that there are a lot of soil out there that's being excavated at different sites, and it's essentially, as Mary said, she said it's urban soil, but it's not virgin soil. So it's soil that has some compounds in it that are below DEP standards, but they're not. It's not completely pristine. So we saw that a lot when we were the engineer of record for the Stoughton landfill. I was one of the ones that was approving all the packages coming in. So we would see that soil that essentially was almost clean, but had nowhere else to go, so it was going to the landfill. So DEP recognized this gap, saying, well, these types of soils really need another place to go. And so they came up with these two policies that are outlined here. One is the similar soils policy, which that's a policy that allows different places to take soil that has something in it, but it's below the DEP standards, but it doesn't exasperate the conditions there. So that's one of the requirements. So the two standards that they talk about are the residential standards, which are RCS1, and the other standards, which are RCS2. So they have these numbers, they're very well established, and so that if you have a site with these type of conditions, you can take them to a facility like this. But they also recognize that, with these soils moving around, they wanted to make sure that DEP had some oversight and some impact on how this was going to happen, and so it was well controlled. So they came up with a second regulation, which is the interim policy for the reuse of soil at large reclamation projects. And that's where this site fits into that category, that where you have over several 100,000 cubic yards of material that's going to be taken in here. DEP has this policy well established with all the controls and requirements to permit this facility. But because it's still just an interim policy, the way that they do it is that you have to go through DEP, negotiate it in a fairly stringent fashion, a number of meetings, submittals, and so forth, and then they enter into Mary or Gil would enter into a administrative consent order with DEP, which would have all the requirements of the permit that they're going to issue, and you would be able to accept this soil under the DEP guidance and the administrative consent order. So that's basically the components of the plan. Then in the next section, I talk about the different requirements in the plan. So there's a long list of requirements that are going to be part of that administrative consent order, and that involves dust control, grading plans, soil management plans, and also what Mary was referring to as the third-party review. The LSP that would be involved with this project would be reviewing all the soil packages. Everything would be checked and double-checked to make sure that the soil coming in was, in fact, below the standards and presented no risk. But then there's also another caveat that DEP's put into the plan for third-party review, and that's what Mary was talking about. The third-party review is there's independent consultants going to come in at different times and go in and check and do their own review and checking to make sure everything's being adhered to. So there's redundancy in that to make sure that everything's being handled properly. The other part, and you can look at the other things that are involved in here. There's a erosion plan, an existing conditions plan, and a groundwater monitoring plan. All these things are in place to make sure that the soil you're taking in has no impact on the property and it's being handled properly. But the final point, and the reason that we're here tonight, is that DEP recognized that they're going to be spending some of the resources on this process, issuing the administrative consent order, negotiating with the proponents and so forth. So they definitely want the municipality that's involved to be a proponent of what is being done. They want some input and make sure that this particular municipality would like to see this project completed. I think Mary's presented a lot of good benefits that are going to happen from this project, and so that's what we're looking at, the early stages here. There's going to be a lot more information, a lot more detail coming in the future, but at this point, we're just looking for input that, yes, we think, based on what we've seen, this is a favorable project, and something in writing to that so we get DEP to respond to that. We've already met with Gerard Martin, one of the chief DEP people in Southeast Region. We had a good meeting with him. He's very familiar with the property. He thinks it's a good location. It's ideal for taking in a lot of soil because it's very close to the highway. It represents a good location and probably be one of the better facilities that they're looking at right now. DEP has permitted one facility now, I believe, in the western region, which we gave you an example of that administrative consent order and soil management plan for that. They're about to permit another facility in Middleborough. So it's a new program, very exciting program for us because it's just a great benefit to find a way to use this soil that previously had been going to places where it really wasn't designed for, and you can build back a nice benefit to the community.
And the only thing I want to make really clear, I'm only interested in the RC1. And the DEP knows that. I intend to put housing on this. So I know that because it's not really that it's dirty, it's more that it could have loam in it and stuff, which doesn't make for good foundations. So the construction of what we're going to do is going to be a lot more expensive for the foundations. So they're basically going to be whatever. I don't know the lingo, but I get that it's expensive and I get that it's structurally going to be very sound. So that's all I'm interested in. And I'm very interested, as you well know, in recycling. So this is all going to be, the theme behind the whole village is that a lot of people are getting sick because of chemicals in the wood and the treatments, like that lumber company that just basically almost went out of business because the Chinese were putting all that stuff. People, it's like a new car. Some people can't buy a new car because they get sick from the stuff they put on the fabrics. So this is going to be beyond LEED certified. It's going to be chemical free. So
the RCS1 is the
Most
better quality.
The best quality.
That's the residential. And this property, it's in near a drinking water resource and everything. It would be an RCS1. That means that anything coming into the facility would be below the DEP's reportable concentrations.
And they know I have every intentions of we have unbelievable water on that site and supplying our own water. But the beauty of it is the water flows this way. So the water does not flow towards the well. It flows this way. So everything is lined up perfectly for it. But there's only one piece of it that I want to fill, and which is just where the residential is. The back 50 is all farming. That will never be anything but farming, bike paths, whatever. And of course, part of the plan is to go from this land to Smelt Brook. I want to clean up the Smelt Pond. I'm really hot on that one, and put some bike paths around it and have beach area. And I won't get into the cleaning up the offal pits, but it's also part of the deal.
Okay, Sue?
Yeah, what we do on the soil is that, like, if the soil was to come in, it was kind of coming from a location, that they would have to have their own LSP, describe where the soil's coming from, then he'd have to comply with the testing that we require, and you have to submit all that testing to us to review, and then we look at all that. It's like a testing for every 500 cubic yards of material. We'd have to look at that and see whether or not it met the criteria. Then it's approved, and then he can ship it. So there's very tight control on what comes in there. So,
Okay.
Are you basically going to be competing for this, Phil? Is it a move now or else?
Well, you compete. It'll be on the open market. Whatever's out there. Right now, a lot of the large projects like Mass DOT and so forth, they'll have in their bid specs, they'll have contaminated material. Then they'll have this what they call unregulated soil, which falls into this stuff where it's all below RCS2 or RCS1, but they have to get rid of it. So there are those kind of components are right out there right now. But right now there are not a lot of facilities open for that. So it would be a pretty good opportunity.
And will we have to compete for it? You bet.
Yeah.
But I want it done. So we will have good prices because I want to get this built.
Yeah, to be able to compete against what the landfill is charging.
How many cubic yards are you talking about bringing in?
The first blush of it is $1 million. The second blush was about $1.1 million. I'm not really sure. because we're really in the preliminary stages. But I want to be, whatever we're doing, I want to be in and out of this and within 2.5 years, because I think that's what it's going to take me to get to where I need to be. So when I'm ready to build on it, we're done. I just want to make sure that we have it's big enough to see the views I want to see.
Yeah, but the logistics of truck, I mean, there's a finite number of truck trips per day that can be run. So does
I've had
that
years where
work?
we've taken a million yards in a year, so no, that's not an issue. This will be less than what we do with gravel, and have done with gravel. And we're almost done with the gravel, so it's kind of a good timing in a way. And as you know, we sit on the highway, so we've never had an issue with truck traffic. And I promised the original board 30 years ago that I would not run the trucks through town, and I never have. A couple of times they've been caught, and it wasn't pretty, because there's no reason. They said, well, what if we're going to Dustbury? Get on and get off and come back. Do not run the trucks through town. And they don't. And they just know that's a rule, and they just don't do it. I think that it's all the standard that you start with is what happens. And we have not had trouble. I don't know if anybody's there. You never see Gil Lopez's trucks through town.
No.
And you never will.
Any question?
Well, okay.
I have a question for Paul. Do we have an earth filling ordinance? I'm not aware that we do. Earth filling ordinance.
Versus removal.
No, I do not need a permit from you. However,
No, I understand. I'm just asking if we have an earth filling
Yeah, sure.
It'll
ordinance.
affect the value. It'll definitely affect the value.
We don't have any ordinance that requires permit to fill your property.
Mm-hmm.
In this particular case, I'm not sure what they're going to do it, where they're going to do it, but there's construction criteria to meet if you're going to fill property and then put a building on it.
Right.
I'm not sure exactly where this fits in relationship to local regulations like overlay district or that kind of stuff. I'm not sure exactly how specific you want the board to be as far as support at this particular time without having any sort of a plan. I mean, do you want them to say, yeah, we'll take a look at it, or?
no, all I'm looking for the town to say to DEP, please continue to work on this site. That's all.
And so will we have an opportunity to weigh in later on? Because I too have, we just went through this with earth removal. Pretty much the same questions, when will it begin? You said it might take
Right.
2.5 years, but when will this actually start? We already know how many cubic yards. And dust control is part of this. But for us, we want to know the hours of operation, any impact it would have on local roads. Obviously,
Same we've always done, yeah.
that many trucks going through are going to,
That's coming ahead.
yeah.
There's a lot of specific questions of what kind of soil you put in. You're going to dump drainage into it, or are you just going
Right.
to, what's the final use of the soil? How is it going to be utilized on site?
Spread out, yeah.
Exactly where it's going to be,
Right.
not sure.
And those are the plans we're working on. And if you want to say, am I going to report back to you, I'm happy to report back to you, because I have a long way to go on this whole project.
Right.
And my plan is to take it to town meeting, okay? Because
Okay.
whatever I'm going to do is not going to fall under the 40R I have now. That I can
Okay.
guarantee you. So this is going to end up at town meeting. So I'm going to have to perfect all of our plans. We have a long way to go. And a lot of different architects and engineers. So yes, I can report here once a month. I can do whatever you want. I certainly can, as the process goes along, I'd be happy to keep you informed.
Okay. My concern is that if we give a blanket agreement now, support, exactly what are we supporting and what control will we have over traffic and hours of operation and that sort of thing.
Well, I can tell you this.
Where we
Jean.
have
Just an
no
update
ordinance, to go by.
Request for.
I am always hesitant to just give blanket approval without knowing we're going to have specifics to go by later on.
Right. What were you saying, Lindsay? I want to hear what Lindsay was saying.
Well, I was just saying, to your point, is it premature for the board to express any favor or disfavor of any kind, when you're not that far along to have the specifics to present to the board.
It's the first step that DEP is
Is this
asking
really
for.
just an update versus an ask for?
No, this is an ask. They're asking for
Well,
a
that's what I'm
letter
saying
of
is,
support.
do
Yeah.
we
So
want
we're-
to treat it as an update versus giving something?
No, tonight, she's asking for a letter of support, and I need to know just how much information we're going to have and what we can say about things in order to give a letter of support. Because once we give a letter of support, then she moves ahead. I don't want her to have to come back later and find out that we're not in agreement with something.
Right.
Well, Sandy's next.
Okay.
She's been,
Sorry. Okay, so I don't think we're being asked to give a letter of support to the project. What I'm interpreting is that we're being asked, as a matter of fact, to trust DEP's new program to allow the use of urban soils. And that
Bingo.
I can completely support after I get answers to a couple of questions.
Okay.
Okay, so the list, it sounds like you're going to get a list, or DEP is going to receive a list and summary of the contents of some urban soil. They're going to approve that soil, and then you're going to purchase it? No, they're going to give it to you, okay, right?
The process is, that's what you're going to mention, is a real good milestone, it would be a good milestone to come back here is the draft soil management plan. That's one of the big items that has a lot of these plans and stuff, and the whole procedures, how we're going to do everything. Everything is pretty much outlined. So we present the draft soil management plan to DEP. They look at it, we discuss it, we get feedback from them, then they start working on the draft ACO.
Okay.
The ACO includes all the things that DEP is going to require us to do that are also part of the soil management plan.
Okay, so what I'm concerned, though, is the contents of the soil. You say it's going to be under DEP standards for contaminants, right?
No,
Correct. It's going to be under the RCS-1 standard.
RCS 1, okay.
Which is not a contaminant.
So that would not contain things like petroleum-based products, like asphalt, things like that. It's going to be soils.
Construction, debris.
No
those things.
okay.
Yeah.
So, thinking about that standard then, that they have to meet, will you be getting a list of soil, what makes up that soil? Will they give you then, all right, we have, 4 micrograms of this per
There's a-
1,000
yeah.
yards?
In this-
So you're going to
in
get that?
In the similar soils guidance document, there's a Table 1. Table 1 has the standards for RCS-1 facilities, and that's something they've already developed. So that Table 1 is already, so that basically lists all the different compounds they'll be looking for and the levels that you have to be at in order to accept it as below RCS-1.
And will they, per group of material that you have on site then, let's say Phase 1 or whatever, will they then, like, check off, this one has this in it, this one has this in it, this one, but it's below our standards, so it's okay?
Right, well, that will be part of our role, is to make sure that everything that comes in is below those standards and meets that and is approved and it can come in, and then it's double-checked with a third-party review. The third-party review comes out at any time, checks what's going on.
Checks it out, okay.
checks-
So who chooses that independent consultant?
That, I think that I'm not clear on. I know that it's a third-party consultant, so it's got to be somebody that actually is independent of the rest of the
Qualified.
project and is just doing the work, but is not involved with the rest of the project.
I know they won't let them do it, so
They won't let us do it.
it's going to have to be DEP.
That's what I wanted to
It has to
hear.
be DEP approved.
It says DEP, okay, excellent.
That'll probably be part of the consent order. They'll ask for that and ask to submit the third-party consultant, and they'll approve that.
Okay, and this is bringing any loam in?
Yeah, until you get up higher in the,
Okay, so once you get it all ready to landscape, then you're going to have to bring in loam and things
No,
like that?
we have our own loan, we make our own
So you're going to
loan.
make your own loam? Excellent, thank you. All right,
so that's what I was going to suggest, is that if you want to give some tentative approval, that you could build into that approval a milestone that you want to be able to
Fine.
see the draft soil management plan and have input on that.
It's all good.
You know, so
I would very much would like to see that soil management plan.
Good.
Yeah.
that'll be
Excellent.
something we'll be submitting to DEP, and there'll be some time going back and forth with them, and we would welcome input from the town, anything that is going to make it,
We probably just need the final one, the one that's approved.
okay.
That would be nice, that would be great.
And
Why don't we see one halfway through, just to make sure that
Yeah,
nothing jumped
I'd
out?
like to know what's in it.
Well,
Yeah,
she's
what
gonna
I-
have one every time they bring a load in.
no,
No,
no.
no.
No, this is
The
their
plan.
negotiations.
Yeah, right, so you'd see the draft, and then you could say, well, we want to make some comments in this area, and we could build that into it, and we could change it, and make sure everybody, the town, DEPs, everybody's on board with how it's going to be done.
What I'd like to suggest is, as I go through the process, because there's meetings and there's meetings, is to give every meeting, whatever, to Mr. Hennessy, have him report to you, and when you say, bring her in, I'm happy to come in. We want to ask this, happy to come.
He's not going to the meetings, you're just going to report.
No, I wouldn't dare ask him to go to
Okay.
the meetings.
Paul, I think you want to, well, we had Sue, then Lindsay.
Well,
This is just a procedural question, I know. When the town says okay, the town says okay, does it then become a state function? You know, like the state decides what the soil is that's acceptable and where it can go, or is there any local, do you have local input after that? When you say okay, or do you say, okay, we're comfortable with it, and they have a process they go through, does it then become a function of the state to decide? Yeah.
Sue and Lindsay want to say something.
Well, building on Sandy, is it just that they want to know that we're interested and we're not going to blanket say, no, we don't want this
Right,
material coming into our town?
that's what they're saying.
So it's really not a matter of what the project is, because hopefully that this is all encompassed in the planning stages, that you're adding this amount of soil. It's not the amount of soil that we're talking about today. It's the quality and whether we're willing to cooperate with DEP.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Because, and understand, I'm going to be putting very nice buildings on top of this. So no one's going to watch this better than me. Get it, I want to see the ocean, but it's going to be a certain way.
And excuse my ignorance, but who determines the amount of soil that you can add to a property that you're building on?
There's
No
no, there's nothing, there's no law
That's what I'm
against it.
saying, we don't have an earth-filling ordinance.
Right,
She would have to
so,
go through planning board anyways.
Yes, it does, for the building,
Planning board will
yeah.
approve.
For the
right,
building.
so
that, it is in place, and
No, I mean
then.
for the site plan.
For the project, once
project.
we get to
When
the
I'm
project.
Yes.
I'm looking at it two separate, and I just want to make sure that if we look at it separate, yeah, that will be addressed. That the amount of soil coming onto a piece of property, and then the days of operation, the hours of operation, and that I think, if I'm wrong, I think that's a separate issue. It's just whether we're willing to accept this type of material.
That's right, and as far as operation and all the rest, I'm very happy to conform within my earth removal permit. It's the same, different. So the same hours of operation.
Yeah.
And it's this one portion, small portion of a big parcel of land.
Lindsay?
Yeah, I only had two other things. One is the state requiring something from this board
It's
in
a part
order
of the
for you to
process.
go forward? It's a
Yeah.
necessity?
It is part of it, they do want input from the municipality
Right.
that this project is something that they see in a favorable light.
Okay, and then my last question was, would we get any assurance from you that if you, call it, kind of fill this site back up, that you would not then apply in the future to remove soils that were brought on as a result, you know?
I wouldn't mind if you give me the nod that it's a good idea, and you restrict it to the residential piece for the ocean view portion only of my development project of the village. This is the only piece I'm interested in right here. The rest is not, and this I want just at grade, just the way it is. So there's just this piece of the property.
So maybe we should talk about bringing in land, like we have an excavation permit process.
Well, that's
bringing
why I
in-
was asking if we
yeah.
had an earth filling ordinance. If not, I think it.
Right.
And then
I-
make the condition
should
that you
do that.
can't take it back.
I think you were being.
That's okay, I
I
don't
think
care.
you were being very honest and candid, like, you had to keep this going, so you had
Yeah.
to take earth removal
Right.
off. And to some degree as well, what you're saying is, it makes economic sense to bring dirt on. Well, that cycle at some point has to end.
Yeah, and,
Right.
and that's what I'm trying to do. But this section that I'm bringing it back into, would like to, is the section that had these beautiful views.
Right.
Okay, and it's always broken my heart, but you know what?
Though the
I
widow,
lost the land.
whatchamacallit's land down there,
She does not see the ocean.
yeah, this is pretty low down here, right?
Yes.
So you're building here. So this would be the only property line affected. And do you know the difference in grade when this is finished bringing in all the soils you want to bring in?
No, because it's all preliminary. We're still doing we're in the design. But you have to get a first permission to keep going to the next one. I mean, if because.
No,
it
I have
doesn't
no
make any
problem with
sense.
that. I'm just, you try to keep your eye on the ball as far out as you can.
There's not much, you're
Wanna
right.
Create
A
a
problem.
mountain that we didn't think about how to deal with.
This is basically going to be where it started on that particular side, plus the fact there's very little going to be built on my abutter side, only because they don't view the ocean from there, and that's really what we're going after, viewing either the ocean or the village are the hot spots. So it's just this strip and this one strip of buildings only. And that's as it stands in its preliminary form. They may even be scratched at the end and may not make it to the final grade. It's a long process with a lot of steps.
Okay, so you're willing to check in periodically, keep us updated and everything else. So I'm with, I think, Sandy and Sue. You're looking for permission to start negotiations with DEP to bring in urban fill.
Right.
And that's what you're looking for, is our support for you to start negotiations to bring in urban fill.
Correct.
And through that, we'll have checkpoints, and we can, between now and our first checkpoint, whenever that may be, come up with what the board wants to see, a formal orders, we'll call it orders of conditions, like the earth removal on trucking hours, dust, and anything else, just to have that in place, so then you can continue with your negotiations, and before it's finalized, the board reviews it again.
And then
I have no
maybe
problem.
Yeah.
A bylaw in the
Yes.
future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Earth movement bylaw.
You know,
What's
it
called
may be-
earth filling ordinance. yeah.
Maybe better defined what that white area is, like X number of feet from X, from the property line or something, just so it's more defined.
We're going to work on all that, for
Yeah.
sure. But I had to start someplace.
Right.
Yep.
Sure.
And believe it or not, this plan, I'm already into it for several $1,000s, and I have very little that I can really use. So, it's a
Okay.
start.
It's a pretty picture, though, Mayor.
Why, thank you.
A couple of things. What I want the board to be very cautious of is going forward, and I'm glad you said in the future, going to town meeting, because we don't want to all of a sudden put together some bylaw that we really may end up inhibiting a very positive thing that may
Right.
come to the town. So I'm glad you said in the future. I think we should use this first experience
As a pilot.
as a pilot, and then go forward with other bylaws in the future if necessary, but
Mary
not right
O'Donnell,
now.
your test case.
Your test case. And if you want a motion, I'll make the motion.
Is everybody ready for a motion?
Yep.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. So I just have one more question. On your page 1, okay, you have two recent Mass DE policies. These two policies are what we're supporting, that you've got listed here.
No, we only want one policy.
Okay, so
We-
you want the
I don't
interim
want-
policy on the reuse?
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, that incorporates the soil management, the similar soils provision.
Okay.
So-
So, I will make a motion to support Mass DEP policy called the interim policy on the reuse of soil for large reclamation projects, number COMM-15-01, approved on August 28th, 2015, in relation to Ms. O'Donnell's 48 Marion Road, Kingston, Mass., existing quarry for the purpose of reclamation.
I'm sorry, existing what?
Quarry.
Quarry.
Second for discussion.
Existing site, you should say, not quarry,
It's
existing
not a
site.
quarry
Existing.
anymore.
And it's not, it's a road, it's a 48 Marion Drive, not
Oh, okay, change that.
a road drive.
Sue?
Oh, I just lost my train.
Second for discussion?
Oh. Can we put in there about the RC?
One?
Yes.
RCS 1.
RCS 1.
Happy.
Limited at this time to RCS 1.
Limited period.
Okay.
Limited period, not at this time.
Well, thank you.
limited.
All right.
Limited period.
Yeah,
I'll accept that.
okay. And checkpoints in between, and checkpoints.
Well, we're not really that far yet, are we?
This is just for her to get
This is
forward.
just for her to
This
get
is the letter
going.
of support.
We can do the
Oh,
checkpoints at a
The
different
planning
time.
stage.
Okay.
The planning stages.
Okay, just want to make sure everybody's comfortable.
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
so we got a second, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I have one tiny question, and that letter will go to
One more question.
Mass DEP.
Yes, it's to Mass
And
DEP.
who are we going to direct that to?
Good question.
I can get you the address for Gerard Martin if you want to.
It should be addressed to Gerard Martin.
Gerard Martin.
It's
Okay, so that's going to go to Gerard Martin, and he has a
He's the
title.
bo- Yeah, he's the boss of this
You can look
program.
at, we'll look that up.
Michael will get you
You
that.
can send the information to
Yeah,
Bob.
send the
and
information.
Laurie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And can I, if the board has any conditions or anything they want in place, if we can start that list and send it to Laurie, so we can make sure that we have all the future conditions, like the trucking hours and all of that.
No problem.
So we have that ready to go, well, it's fresh in everybody's mind, like when the time is appropriate to find the spot, is it gonna be 500 feet in the air, stuff like that. Just, okay, good.
Anybody have any questions about anything else?
Not yet.
No, looks great, we're excited.
Okay. Discuss support of Silver Lake Regional School District vote regarding land for possible new police station. This, Sandy and I went to the Silver Lake School Committee last week and brought the board's vote to acquire the 20 acres of land. The Silver Lake School Committee was not in favor of providing any more land than is necessary to site a police station. They're not interested in pursuing any other activity with Kingston other than this police station. Ball fields were mentioned, the library was even brought up by one of the school committee members, and they're not interested. So their vote was to start negotiations with Kingston for the land required to site a police station. So that's why we've got this on here to take a vote ourselves, to go to, legal counsel and Bob, to go into negotiations with Silver Lake, their representative, to start negotiations.
I'll make that motion.
What? Through the chair, just, was it a final vote that they would not consider that, or it's not their preference, or is it something that can be discussed?
It was discussed at two separate meetings. They had a Buildings and Ground meeting prior to the formal Silver Lake School Committee meeting, and in the Building and Grounds Committee meeting, they were all in agreement that they did not want any additional land for the fact that they wanted to save some in case they needed it for future use. It was actually not a unanimous vote at that time to support negotiating with Kingston for any land. There were members on the Building and Grounds Committee who did not want to go into negotiations at all. By the time it made to the Silver Lake School Committee, There'd been apparently former discussions, and one particular person changed their mind. So they made it perfectly clear that it was just for the police station. And that's why there's no acreage in there, because it was talked about plus or minus 5 acres. And and that night, the plan was actually changed that the police study committee had been working on. Silver Lake wants frontage on 27 as well, which would change the location of the police station somewhat, because now they would be sharing frontage on 27. And the whole parcel itself is 20 acres, give or take, and
Right.
10 of it's upland. So they wanted to retain what they could for their future use. They were talking about some things they threw out, possible preschool building there or something. But I came through loud and clear. It was for a police station.
All right, but just to fill the board in, having not had that information, I brought up at the library building study committee meeting, just, that this had been discussed and we had an appraisal result, and is there even an interest in considering that? Because there's, from the committee's perspective, one of the big concerns is that the library could potentially be operating out of trailers for, a year. And that this solves that issue if it were a municipal building complex, that a library and a police station were both there. It could be seamless, and plus the support of having a library in walking distance of the schools was, there were some mixed opinions as well. Some people felt pretty strongly about wanting the downtown area to keep the library as kind of an anchor municipal building. So I just brought it up as informational kind of a thing. But I guess I just want to know for sure so that I can report back at the next meeting. Is it a closed door? Is it, because we don't need 20 acres to do the two buildings.
Right.
It's a lot smaller number to be able to do that, the two buildings. But if you tell me that it's over, that's fine.
To even make that clearer, what it comes down to, the vote for us to acquire the land for a police station has to be approved at all 3 town meetings. So if one town says no, then the police station doesn't get located on that site. And there were town officials within that meeting as well that I spoke to and said, police station, fine, but we'd be short-sighted to give any other land to Kingston that the school may need in the future. So that came from a town official in another town. So, they've got, some influence on their town meeting. So I think if we're going to get the police station, we need to stay within the acreage to site a police station, to get the town's support.
Okay.
That's what I heard. Sandy?
I don't want to completely shut that idea off, but it would have to be a separate vote of your committee to pursue that, completely separate of the negotiation for the police station, because I want to get this police station through as positively as we can. If they don't want us to put anything else on that land, and they're going to give us a limited amount for the police station, then let's do that first. However, in the future, you may find that the 3 towns may change their mind on the other portion. And so you could pursue it at that point,
Separately.
but your committee would have to pursue it with them like we did.
I suggest you watch the school committee meeting, because it was clear.
No,
that-
I know, but in the future, they may change their mind. You've already got 1 or
But
2
they're-
committee members who changed their mind.
Right, but they're looking to go into design and planning and everything else.
Yeah, it can't wait for
Right,
the future.
right, and-
It would need to be a united front, if you
Right.
will. And the fact is that from the school's perspective, like, this library would be supporting schools that serve
towns.
their kids as well, to some degree, because it would be within walking distance. So, you know, if there's going to be this great new facility that has, you know, breakout study rooms and other things that could be of real benefit to Silver Lake schools, that includes them. If, you know, it's too far out of the barn, if it would slow down your process to a point that's unacceptable, I'm not looking to make waves at all. Some people thought it was a great idea on the committee. Some people, you know, I think, you know, still, even if it was viable, would like to see it remain in place. I just,
That's why I suggest you watch the meeting, because I don't, if you get a different sense of it, or anybody else does, then we can approach Silver Lake again, but I don't want to irritate the school committee by saying.
no, and I just want to say, I'm not going to do anything that pisses anyone off,
Yeah.
that hurts the efforts of
Right.
the police station building committee.
And that's
Because,
why, I mean, that's why if you watch it, you get a different interpretation.
The chairman, Mr. Creed, actually polled each member, and all 9 said only a portion. That's it.
To cite a
To
police
cite the
station.
police station. So all 9 members of that committee were pretty adamant that it only be the police station siting.
I'll watch the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would it be okay if I talk to John Creed, just to get his opinion on it as well? or-
You're free to do
No,
whatever
but I
you
don't
want,
want to do
absolutely.
anything that's going to set anything
No,
back.
talking to
or-
John Creed won't upset anything. He's a very easy person to talk to and very willing to talk to
Yes,
people.
he is.
He's a great resource, in fact.
Yeah. You know, the other piece of that, from our town's perspective, is, you know, as we were kicking around on Tuesday night, there's matching funds available for hard costs on a new library right now, but it's still a big number, even when you subtract out the state money. And, you know, it really is hard to ask the community in back-to-back years to support big capital expenditures. It's easier to make one big ask than to make 2. And so, you know, that was of concern, and a lot of people felt like if we did a municipal development, you know, we could sell that to the town more easily, because you can almost hear certain voices at that second town meeting saying, we just spent on the police. So that's why I was thinking, you know, either close the door or not, but I don't think it could wait.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't see it, though.
I don't
Okay.
see them.
And that's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, if there's an opportunity, or was, then it was worth talking about.
Yeah, I agree. We tried.
Okay, I move to pursue the purchase of a portion of attractive land located on Pembroke Street owned by the Silver Lake Regional School District to site a police station, and to authorize the town administrator and town council to negotiate the terms of the purchase.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, our last business is to modify the membership seats on the Future Projects Committee to include designees. That's just a matter of some boards couldn't fill the slot, so if we just do designees, if someone just wants to read the motion, that would pretty much cover what we need to do.
I move to modify the membership of the Future Projects Committee to read as follows. 1 member of the Board of Selectmen, 1 member of the Community Preservation Committee or its designee, 1 member of the Recreation Commission or its designee, 1 member of the Conservation Commission or its designee, 1 member of the Historical Commission or its designee, 1 member of the Open Space Committee or its designee, 1 member of the Kingston School Committee or its designee, 1 member of the Silver Lake Regional School District Committee or its designee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any other business for us to conduct tonight?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we're good to go then.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next meeting is November 3rd. See you in 2 weeks.
A couple of things to sign in there. The